All right, so I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Stillwater Planning Commission this Tuesday, November 18th, 2014. First item on the agenda, under the land use items for discussion and possible action, item A, Michael and Kimberly Gruhl, map amendment, item PZ.14.1880, requesting review and approval to rezone 202 South Brush Creek Road from RSS residential single family small lot to A agricultural. Mr. Coots.
Tom Coots, Development Services. Request is rezone the property and the hatching and surrounded by the purple to, as you said, the agriculture district. Property is surrounded the north by the RSS and north and the west by the RSS residential small lot single family district, which is the same as the request. To the south by the Property is surrounded by RSS, which is residential small lot single family, same as what the property is zoned right now. To the south, the agricultural, which is what the request is, same as what the request is. And to the east is outside the city, unincorporated Payne County. The request, as I understand it, is mostly to allow for the use of farm animals on the property. The city code does allow for various farm animals to be located in the city. However, in the agriculture district, allows for the enclosures of those animals to be within, it requires them to be at least 50 feet from any residence, whereas any other district requires them to be at least 150 feet from any residence. So to follow the code in keeping of agricultural animals on the property, this would allow for a larger area of the property to be utilized for that sort of thing. However, I did want to just point out that the agriculture district, in addition to allowing less stringent requirements for agricultural animals, does also allow for things like mobile homes and mobile home parks, cell towers, and utilities. Those types of uses are allowed by right, which aren't allowed in the residential small lot single family zoning district, and allows for other more intensive uses with a specific use permit. I don't know if they're here tonight. I did receive a comment from one of the neighbors before the last meeting, so they may have been able to attend this meeting, but their concern essentially focused on they didn't want to let the animals be in the front yard, basically. That's basically what the concern seemed to center on, not necessarily having them or not having them, or that sort of thing, or the agricultural zoning or not the agricultural zoning. I should point out that the comprehensive plan does call for this entire area. It says it's appropriate for high-density residential uses, which would be like apartment buildings and that sort of thing. It's pretty clear that that hasn't gotten to this area quite yet. So in agriculture zoning, I guess there's two ways to think about it. You could think of it as a down zoning, but also agriculture zoning sort of holds things in place because you can't put very many residential, you can't subdivide it very much, minimum 5 acres of lot size. And so things pretty much stay the same, whereas if something is zoned RSS as opposed to something like for multifamily uses, which is what may happen in the future someday, the RSS district in the meantime allows for somebody to subdivide it and then thus make it impossible potentially for those types of redevelopments to happen in the future. So on the one hand, it seems like it's not meeting the comprehensive plan, but on the other hand, it may help further the comprehensive plan. Staff finds that the request allows for reduced setbacks for livestock agricultural type purposes, and staff finds the agriculture zoning is adjacent to the property already. Any questions for me?
Questions for staff? Okay, so we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing, and we'll ask that, is there anyone here in this evening that would like to speak in favor of this request? Okay, seeing none, is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Okay, so seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. We'll ask for staff's alternatives.
Okay, we can accept the staff findings and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed map amendment as presented. We can find that the map amendment is not an appropriate use for the property based upon the impacts to the surrounding vicinity, and do not recommend that the City Council approve the proposed map amendment. Or we can find that additional information or discussion is needed prior to making a recommendation and table the request to a certain date.
Thank you. Commissioners, any discussion?
I might say I spoke with the neighbor to the north. It looked like they were going to be most affected by this rezone, and again, they have no problem with animals and that kind of thing there. They did prefer that they weren't in the front yard, but again, they know with this zoning request that animals can be wherever on the place. So anyway, bottom line is they didn't have a problem with it. So just wanted to pass that along.
All right, thank you.
I move we accept findings and recommend the City Council approve the proposed map amendment as presented.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Let's vote. And that is moved forward with a recommendation with 6 votes yes. Next item on the agenda, item B, City of Stillwater, map amendment. Item PZ.14.1901, requesting review and approval to rezone 101 North Jardel Road from RSS and A, residential single-family small lot and agriculture, to RSS, residential single-family small lot district. Ms. Evans.
Good evening, Patty Evans, Development Services. Okay, this property is located on Jardel Road, south of Virginia Avenue. This is Virginia, and this is Jardel, and the property is the hatched area. The property has, before I start on this specific zoning, I did want to point out that I do have 3 map amendments on the agenda tonight. All 3 of these are properties that the city has identified that does not have appropriate zoning on it, or has 2 zoning districts on it, so we want to get 1 on it. So the city has initiated these map amendments. Okay, back to this property. This property has the 2 zonings, RSS, small lot, single family, and agriculture. The zoning request is to change the agriculture portion to RSS, so the whole lot will have the small lot single-family zoning on it. The use of the property is single-family residential. The surrounding zoning districts include RSS and Ag on the north, RSS PUD on the east and south, and RSS PUD and RT on the west. The findings are that the property has, that RSS does not meet the CS plan of high density residential, and that's on the east 2/3 of the property, and that the RSS does not meet the C3 plan of commercial on the front of the property, on the west portion of the property, and that the use of the property is single-family residential, therefore the proper zoning is RSS small lot single family. Are there any questions?
Is there a house on it currently, Patty?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, so we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anyone this evening that would like to speak in favor of this request? Okay, please come forward and state your name and address, please.
I'm the owner of 101 North Jardel, Darla Webb, and the timing of the city request actually allows me to pursue a desire to put a subdivision on that property. So I'm in favor.
Okay, any questions for Darla? Thank you very much. Is there anyone else this evening that would like to speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and ask for staff's alternatives.
The alternatives are to accept findings and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed map amendment as presented, find that the map amendment is not an appropriate use for the property and recommend the City Council not approve the map amendment, and find that additional information or discussion is needed and table the request to a certain date.
All right, thank you. Commissioners, any discussion?
I move we accept findings and recommend the City Council approve the proposed map amendment as presented.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Let's vote. And that request does move forward to the City Council with 6 votes yes. Next item on the agenda, item C, City of Stillwater map amendment. Item PZ.14.1902, requesting review and approval to rezone 2123 West 12th Avenue from RSS and A residential single family small lot and agriculture to RSS residential single family small lot district. Ms. Evans.
All right. This property is located on 12th Avenue, east of Western Road. Here's 12th. This is Western. The property has 2 zoning districts on it, an RSS and an agriculture. And the request is to change this agriculture to RSS, so the property will have 1 zoning district. The surrounding zoning districts are RSS to the west and north, public to the east, and ag and commercial shopping to the south. The use of the property is a place of worship. It's a church. Okay, RSS is not consistent with the C3 plan of commercial for the property, but a place of worship is allowed in the RSS zoning district. Are there any questions?
I have a quick question for you. If there's a church on there right now in RSS, assume there's a specific use permit for them. Is that probably a safe assumption?
It is probably a safe assumption. I did not look it up since this was...
But this in no way would affect, even though it's a partial, okay.
No. Any other questions?
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing for this item. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and ask for staff's alternatives.
Okay. The alternatives are accept the findings and recommend that the City Council approve the map amendment as presented, find that the map amendment is not an appropriate use for the property, and recommend that the City Council not approve the request, or find that additional information or discussion is needed and table the request to a certain date.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I'd make a motion to accept findings and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed map amendment as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. And that recommendation moves forward with 6 votes yes. Item D, City of Stillwater map amendment. Item PZ.14.1904, requesting review and approval to rezone Lakeview Ridge, sections 1 through 4 from RTM, residential 2-family and multifamily, to RSS, residential single-family small lot district.
All right. The subdivision is located on East Lakeview Road between Perkins Road and Marine. This is Perkins, here's Lakeview and Marine, and here is the subdivision, sections 1 through 4. The surrounding zoning districts are commercial shopping on the west, general industrial on the north, agriculture on the east, and a strip of 2-family along Lakeview on the south with RSS behind it. and RTM on the southwest corner right here. When this subdivision was platted, the zoning was multifamily, and for some reason, as it started developing into single-family homes, the zoning didn't get changed. The subdivision is fully developed in single-family homes. So the RTM is an improper zoning on all of this subdivision. The findings are RSS is consistent with the C3 plan of low-density residential, and the subdivision has been fully developed with single-family residences. Therefore, the RSS is an appropriate zoning district. Are there any questions?
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing for this item. Are there those here this evening that would like to speak in favor of this request? Please come forward, state your name and address, please.
My name is Brian Frainer. I live at 413 Copper Canyon Avenue. I own the house at 1212 Emma Lane. I lived there 8 years. I have also, so I'm in favor of rezoning this to RSS. I also have here 75 signatures of the 107 houses that exist in this neighborhood, in which individual homeowners have signed the statement that reads, "We, the undersigned, record owners of the real property described below, do hereby petition the Stillwater City Council or Planning Commission to invoke its authority pursuant to Section 2358A Stillwater City Code and commence the process to rezone said subdivision from its current RTM multifamily district status to RSS small lot single-family residential classification."
Okay.
Like I said, 75, and I'm also in favor of it. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here this evening who would like to speak in favor of this request?
Do you want all of us to come up on record?
If you want to, you have the right to do so. Sure.
Bridget Miller, 910 Lauren Lane. I'm one of those included signatures, and I would just like to voice my support for the rezoning that's proposed.
Great. Thank you.
My name's Kyle Lucas, and on behalf of my wife, Micah, we are also in favor, and we are one of the 75 signatures for rezoning to single family.
All right, thank you.
I'm Sally Landis, and I live at 826 Lauren Lane. I've lived there 7 years, and I believe it is single-family housing.
Thank you.
I'm Jacqueline Arnold, and I own the property at 902 Lauren Lane, and I'm also in favor of this rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Angie Peck, and I live in 806 East Lauren Lane, and I'm also in favor of this proposal.
Thank you.
Kevin Holdeman, 1018 Lauren Lane. I'm in favor.
Is there anyone else here this evening that would like to speak in favor of this request? Seeing none, is there anyone here this evening that would like to speak in opposition to this request? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and ask for staff's alternatives.
To accept findings and recommend that the City Council approve the proposed map amendment as presented. Find that the map amendment is not an appropriate use for the property, and recommend that the City Council not approve the request, or find that additional information or discussion is needed and table the request to a certain date.
All right, thank you. Discussion?
I move we accept findings and recommend that the city council approve the proposed map amendment as presented.
Can I second that, please?
There's a motion and a second. Let's vote. And that moves forward to the city council with 6 votes yes. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting summary from our regular meeting dated September 16th, 2014.
Motion to approve.
A second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve those meeting minutes. Let's vote. And those are approved with 6 votes yes. Next item on the agenda, miscellaneous items from staff for discussion and possible action. Item A, review and approve the 2015 Planning Commission meeting schedule.
I move to approve the recommended schedule.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the meeting schedule for next year. Let's vote. It does approve with 6 votes yes. That means all of you have to come on those dates. Item B, appoint a Planning Commission representative to the Board of Adjustment. I'll be honest, I actually don't know who our current representative is for the, was it Joe? Joe. Okay, so that's why we're filling that seat.
I'd like to recommend Josh Marlowe.
I would too.
I'll second that.
Thank you all.
There seems to be a recommendation, nomination for Josh Marler to serve on the Board of Adjustments, and there's a second. Any discussion besides Josh? No.
That's a little weird.
Yeah. Okay. Any further discussion? Let's vote. Congratulations.
I abstained.
Wow. Congratulations, Josh. You are now a member of the Board of Adjustments.
Appreciate that, guys.
You should celebrate. All right. Last item on the under item 4 there, item C. Next Planning Commission meeting will be Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014, and will be held with the Stillwater Leadership Class 23 at the Stillwater Public Library, room 119. If there's nothing further, the chair would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Let's vote.
About that. Board of Adjustment.
Sorry, and we are adjourned.
David, I like that slight pause on the Roman numerals.